Hi and good evening to all my GavSays crew. I had the most unbelievably interesting evening here the other evening, sitting talking to a newfound friend, Roberto Rego. Roberto comes from Argentina and he has a tannery there. And for all of us that are horse people, we all use saddles, bridles, and all manner of things, boots that are made from leather. And he and I sat here the other night and chatted, and I could have shot myself that I didn't have a camera on us because it was just the most unbelievably interesting talk. So anyway, I caught him and I twisted his arm, and here we are this evening just trying to capture some of his wisdom, because when you hear the story behind leather, it's amazing.
Welcome to the Polo Like a Pro podcast, for the Polo Obsessed, hosted by Gavin Chaplin and Rob Hampson.
I've always actually been very interested in it because I love working with my hands, and I bought a book called Trenzas Gauchas, which teaches you how to plait the Argentine gaucho way, and with that started a conversation. So, Roberto, tell us a little bit about yourself. You come from Argentina. How did you start your tannery?
I started the same as you, just working with my hands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was about 15 years old. I used to go to farms in Corrientes in Argentina, and all the gauchos were teaching us how to use, and I've obviously bought the same book as you did, Trenzas Gauchas.
Yes.
And from there I started working on this, and I must have been 5 or 6 years doing that as a hobby.
Okay.
And at the same time I was in university, I was studying. So when I used to get back from university, I started working my leather there. So my father, who was a very commercial guy and very strict, said, if you want to keep on with the leather, why don't you go and learn a bit more about leather? Not only the raw material, you should learn a bit more. And I suggest you should go to England, that it's one of the best places for making leather. And at the beginning I said, no. At that stage I wanted to stay in Argentina. I had started playing polo as well. I made all my, whatever you call them, rodilleras and bridle, everything of leather except for the saddle, I made for myself. And finally I said, okay, well, yes, I'll go. And so I finished my degree in Argentina, and I went to the Leeds University in England, in Yorkshire, and took a master's in leather science.
Good Lord.
Yeah. We were only 6 students.
I wish I'd known about that.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. Because English leather is really something, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
really is.
And when you start working on all the chemistry and the collagen and all how the different fibers are formed and how they work in the leather, because it's all like a fiber, interlocking, whatever you call it. So, well, I spent 1.5 years there in the university. So I said, well, when I get back, I wanted to do something in the farm because I didn't like to live in Buenos Aires, in the city.
Okay.
And we had a farm in San Antonio de Areco, which is not far from Buenos Aires. I said, well, my father was going to be my partner, so I said, okay, I'm a partner, but if we put the tannery in San Antonio de Areco, I don't want to be in the city.
So you had it on the farm?
On the farm, I built it from scratch. Previous to the leather, I'm an engineer, so I built the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Some people thought I was a bit crazy in the middle of nowhere. And that was 1978, so it must be, I don't know, 40-something years back.
Amazing.
So,
when we were chatting the other evening, what I found absolutely fascinating was, all of us, people that don't know about leather, think of leather as leather.
yeah, well.
But there are all kinds of different leather, and, I guess it depends where it comes from on the cow.
Exactly.
What kind of beast you're using. Because you want some that's porous, some that absolutely...
Exactly.
It
starts on the area where you get the hides from.
Okay.
I mean, not all the areas are the same. A Brazilian leather hide is not the same as an Argentine hide.
Is that right?
Or an English or Scottish.
Okay.
I mean, we in Argentina have a British cattle. We always had the British line, no?
Yes.
Hereford, Aberdeen Angus, Shorten. Brazil started off with Cebu and all the Indian type. That leather is a different sort of leather.
Is it tougher?
It's thinner, much thinner.
Okay.
And it has a lot of defects because these animals grow in the middle of the Amazonas or wherever, and there's a lot
the
of
thorns and trees
thorns
and,
and
the hides.
all these
Yes.
things. In Argentina, the cattle, we also have part in Argentina that are not good, the hides. In the north and that area, there's sort of, in the Buenos Aires area province and Córdoba, Santa Fe, we have the best hides. So that's all stars. I mean, if you want to make a good quality leather, you have to have the good quality hides. But you don't know if the hide is good or bad until you don't take the hair off. Because, I mean, if it's all full of brand marks or it's all full of ticks, you don't see it under the hair. So it's a surprise. You buy 500 hides, you put them to work, you get rid of the hair, and suddenly you say, ah.
Now, you were telling me that you put those hides into like a big washing machine.
Yeah,
it's got spikes inside to make it flop. Is
Exactly.
that right?
We call it drums.
Yes.
They're made of hard wood.
Okay.
And they're quite big, 4 meters by 3 of diameter, and those rotate at a certain speed. And inside that, you put up to 200, some even 250, 300 hides.
Now, you have something in there to turn them, do you?
You have pegs inside.
Oh, okay.
Because you've got to put, I mean, it has to take the hide up and throw it down.
Yes.
Drop it, because you need the mechanical action in order to start moving,
To abrase it and take the hair off.
and the products have to go into the leather.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so well, when you get that, I mean, it starts from the slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse sends you the raw hide, which is, as it's raw, it can't be long before you start working on it because it goes bad. I mean,
Because that must still have some meat and stuff stuck to it.
it's totally, it's like if you leave a piece of beef outside for 24 hours, it starts degrading. So you have to have a slaughterhouse close to you so you can get the hides within the 5 or 6 hours since it's been slaughtered.
And they go straight into that drum.
Go straight into that drum. It's the first stage. And in that first stage, we call the beam house in English. In Spanish, it's called la ribera,
Okay.
because it was done on the edges of the river. So they used to wet the hides and wash them on the river. So in Spanish, it's called ribera. And in Buenos Aires City, all the tanneries were on the Riachuelo, which is a river inside Buenos Aires. And obviously, it was nothing very healthy. But at that time,
Can you imagine?
who cared?
So once the hair is removed, does that take the meat off it as well at
No,
the same time?
the first thing you do when it comes from the slaughterhouse, you've got to what you call flesh it, degrease it, because it has all the flesh where it's stuck to the animal.
Yes.
So there you use a
Is that
machine.
mechanically done?
Yeah, that's mechanical done. You have a machine that has a rubber cylinder and another cylinder with helicoidal knives, blades,
Okay.
like these that you use for cutting the grass. You know?
Yes.
And the skin passes in between it, and you regulate the pressure of the rubber against that blade, and that cleans totally the flesh. And that
Does
flesh,
it also regulate the thickness of the hide?
no,
Not at all. It's
not
just
at all.
taking
It's
flesh.
just cleaning the flesh. And all that flesh, it's interesting because it's used for lots of purposes. I mean, they use it for different things. I mean, they make even gelatin for food. They make cosmetics for ladies. Yeah. Out of that, it's a byproduct.
Oh my goodness me. I hope no girls are listening to this.
Well, but people think that tanneries are awfully pollution and everything. The problem with tanneries is like if you want to put a dairy farm in the middle of the city. I mean,
Not going to work.
when I took my degree in Leeds, I did a project of tanneries in farming areas because you have to have space.
Yes.
And I mean, you don't want to have a neighbor too near because the smell is there. You want it or you don't want it, the smell is there. But it's only smell. I mean, all the byproducts that you take from
They're all reused.
all reduce, everything.
Now, a question that occurred to me when we were chatting the other night. You obviously started off in England. Is the process in England and the way they work the hides there the same as what you do in Buenos Aires
Yes.
and in Argentina? It's the same process.
It's the same.
The same chemicals, the same everything.
Everything is quite standard
Okay.
because all the companies that sell chemicals are international and they sell the same products in different countries. And I worked for 5 years for one of those companies when I just started. you go into the tanners and you sort of teach them how to use the product. So everybody, I mean, this guy comes from England into Argentina, and the Argentina goes into Chile. So there's a lot of communication in that sense.
Okay.
So, well, going back to the process, you can't keep the hides out. So you put them into work. As soon as you flesh them, that takes only a couple of hours. It's quick.
And then they go into the drums.
They go into the drums. And in the drums, the first thing you've got to do is you remove the hair. So you burn it with sodium sulfide and clay.
And clay.
And water.
Oh, wow.
And that you keep it during 12, 14 hours running. Water 28, 30 degrees centigrade. You don't want to go too up because if not, you burn. The skin is still like if you put water on your arm.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you can't burn it, so you've got to keep it at a temperature. And that runs, and the hair has started to be destroyed. That goes into the bulb of the hair, and it loosens it. And then with the friction of one hide and another, it starts...
The abrasion takes the hair out.
Takes the hair out.
Now, do you have to clean that water and redo it, or is it a one-time process?
No. That water, we use it as a fertilizer because that has a lot of protein and has a lot of products that are very useful. So
the clay would help as well.
The clay will help as well, obviously. Yes. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we have, and I'm talking of my tannery, but the ones that are in big cities have to send it to a sewage plant of the town. And that's a headache because you've got to pay for that. And if you're in a farm, I have 13 lagoons. So I start settling from one to another. It passes from one to the other, to the other, to the other. In the first ones, it starts to... It's sediment. And once every 4, 5, 6 months, you clean that sediment. It's a mud. So you bring a machine, I don't know what you call them, these big machines. Those, one of those. You clean that, and we use it in our farm, we use it as a fertilizer. I mean, we used to just spread it out.
Spread it on the land and just get in.
Incredible. The green that you get and everything. Yeah, it's very good. So yes, you burn the hair, you get rid of it, you use it as a fertilizer or whatever. And there you're starting already with the second stage, which is preparing that skin for the tannage. The tannage means you've got to get to a stage where the leather doesn't putrefy anymore. You've got to convert it into something that is stable. I mean, has to last forever. So the first thing you do is, we call it pickling, which is sort of thing you do with food as well, with olives and that. I mean, you put acid and salt, and you bring the pH down to 3.2.
Now, would that process vary depending on the leather you want?
On that stage, no, because you want to get a stable leather. And any of the tannages that you use, when you have a low pH, the products that you add go into the leather. These products, you've got to put them in between the fibers. The leather is like a build-up of fibers.
Yes.
So you've got to fill up all the gaps. And there you start using what you call the tannage.
So if you have a low pH, you're talking an acidic environment.
Exactly.
That what does that do to the leather?
It lets you introduce the other products. I mean, if you put for example, chrome, if you're talking of chrome tannage, if you put chrome and the pH is high, it sits on the top. It just sits on the surface.
I see.
So before it sits any place in between the fibers, you've got to let it in. When you absorb all that stuff in, then you rise the pH, and there it settles.
Okay.
When it's already inside. If you settle it before, it stays on the top and on the bottom, and inside it's raw. So that leather is going to last not
much less.
Much less.
Okay.
And that happens a lot with vegetable tannages, especially the old-fashioned one, that you could see that with the time it started cracking. I mean, if you have an old saddle made out of vegetable tannage, you see it cracks, it doesn't resist.
It dries out and cracks, it doesn't last.
Exactly. And that happens because it's sort of acid, and inside it didn't finish the job it had to do. Exactly.
So now, if you're wanting different kinds of leather, because we were talking the other day and saying, like the bottom of the saddle, you want something that is soft and soft.
Yeah.
Where the sides of the saddle, you're wanting something that's shiny that doesn't absorb.
Exactly.
How do you change that?
You have different types of tannages. You have the vegetable tannages, that are done with products from the natural products.
Are they still used?
From trees, quebracho, oak, and all that. They make a powder, and they use that as a tannage.
Okay.
And that's used for heavyweight leathers, for sole leathers, where you don't have a big flexibility. Bottom of the shoes, the faldas
Flaps of a saddle. that
the
kind of
saddle,
thing,
yeah.
yes.
Well, in England, they used to say to get a good vegetable leather for the base of a shoe or whatever, you had to leave it inside a pit for 1 year and 1 day.
1 year and 1 day. Okay.
So it should absorb all that with no mechanical action, because there you don't want to break the surface of the leather. So it had to be steady in a pit hanging of 2 little pegs inside that liquor of vegetable whatever. But that's no more use. That's obviously now much quicker. But that, you get heavyweight leathers, they're not very good for other purposes. I mean, if you want to make clothing, if you want to make the underparts of the saddles, now for the seats of the saddles, you want something soft that has a bit of stretch,
Yes.
because you've got to stretch it out in the saddle,
Okay.
and you don't want it to crack, and you have to be able to wash it, because in a vegetable leather, if you wash it, it's not so convenient. And you know, people that use saddles wash them, and from the horses it gets
Sweat and all of that on it.
Exactly. So you have to be able to wash it easily.
Your boots would be the same.
Exactly.
You have to take all the actual horse
Exactly.
sweat off
It's
and keep them in a good condition.
that's the best thing you can do. I mean, as soon as you finish it using the
Take
boot,
the sweat off.
wash them.
But now that leather is non-absorptive, isn't it?
It is absorbent.
It's absorptive.
I talked about the vegetable tannage, the chrome tannage,
Yes.
which is a much more modern version, has a different story. I mean, it's much more flexible. The pores are very open. And when you're talking of saddles, you don't want to put anything that doesn't let it breathe. You want breathability there. When you put an oil on it, I mean, you finish using the saddle and you want to put oils. First, maybe you wash it with soap, with glycerin soap or whatever, and then you want to put oils on whatever. But you want those oils to go inside,
penetrate.
because you want them in the middle of the fiber. So you always keep on putting oil in there, no?
Okay.
If you sort of block the surface, it's no good for a saddle, because it won't let you penetrate the oils.
So what would a shoe be?
No, a shoe is a
A
different
shoe
thing.
is totally different.
It's
You
a
don't
different-
want to penetrate.
No, exactly. In fact, we made tons of waterproof leather for the Canadian Army, because they needed boots that they could walk 15 kilometers in the snow
Yes.
without wetting their socks. So we used to produce. But when I started offering that for saddles, the guy said, "No, this leather you send me it's no good." I say, "How it's no good? It's great." "No, it's no good. We can't put the oil on it. It doesn't
It doesn't
absorb."
go in. It sits on top.
So I said, here's the point.
Okay.
So well, then I learned how to make the leather for the saddle.
Another question for you. How do you thickness the leather, and is there different thicknesses from different parts of the hide?
Yes. The hide has different sections
Yes.
as the beef.
So like your flanks would be
The
much
flanks are
thinner
more stretchy and
Yes.
and lighter weight.
over the hump and that
Over
kind
the
of
hump, you have a bit of marks of the veins of the animal, the creases, no?
Yes.
As we have.
Yes. At our age, many of them. Yeah. Yeah.
But what we do is, after the leather is tanned, we're talking now on the chrome leather, because the sole leather you leave it full substance, because there you want heavy weight.
Okay.
But on the chrome leather, where you're talking of softer leathers, you split it in two this way. I mean, you have a machine that has also 2 rollers and a knife that runs this way in the middle, and the hide passes between the 2 rollers, and you split it in two.
Wow.
The top part is called the grain leather, which is the most costly.
Okay.
And the bottom, we call it a split leather, which is used as suede. So for saddles, for example, I see a lot of saddles made, especially in Argentina, made with suede leather instead of the grain leather.
Okay.
But one of the reasons is that the price is half. If a top grain leather is, for saying something, $40 a square meter, the suede is 15 or 17. It's less than half price. So in a saddle that it takes quite a bit of leather, the seat, a lot of people use a suede because it's cheaper.
I think it's also,
if I miss my guess, the suede is much easier to ride on because it grips you. So if you're a bad rider, the suede leather actually really helps you stay with the saddle, where the other leather becomes shiny.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a question of price, and also it's a question of comfort.
Of horsemanship.
Yes, but it doesn't last as long, because as soon as you start washing and whatever, it also starts getting shiny and sort of uncomfortable.
Okay.
The leathers that we're making today for seats, and they're especially for jumping and for dressage, and not so much for polo. Polo is a particular species, no? But for the other guys,
Western saddles, what would they fit into the other category?
they use this soft leather now. It has a very good grip. I mean, they all want it to have a grip. I mean, they don't want it shiny.
Yes.
They don't want it with a wax or with a polyurethane finish on the top or what. No. I want something that has a grip.
Okay.
So one of the questions is, how do you do to get that leather with a good grip? So there we've been working, all the tanners, not only me, in working on a soft leather with enough grip to replace or have the same comfort as a suede, but a longer life.
Lasting.
Longer life, because it's much more. And the weight is always heavier. I mean, when we use for saddles, we make leathers of 2 millimeters thickness. You can imagine 2 millimeters, for the people that are not aware of it, but you can't break a 2 millimeters leather with nothing. I mean, you just can cut it, but if not, it would never.
You'll never break it.
No, it will never break, it will never crack, it will never nothing. When we do we call the bastos at the bottom of the saddle.
Underneath of the saddle.
Yeah,
Yes.
what's the name in English? Well, we call them bastos.
Okay.
There we need a soft leather, something like this,
The pads.
the pad, like a garment leather.
Yes,
You want
yes.
it very soft, because there you want it to fit in well the animal,
And mold to the back.
mold and not
Yes.
hurt
Yes.
and whatever. So there we use a different leather. Also has to have absorption, and also has to be soft, and also it has to be washable, and you can apply oils and it suck in,
penetrate,
and penetrate. So the whole story is you've got to make the same leather, but one is 2 millimeters and the other one is 1.2 millimeters. So it's almost half the thickness.
So the 1.2 is for the seat.
No, the 2 millimeters.
The
is
2 is
for
for the seat and the 1.2 for under.
The other problem is hides have defects always from wherever they come. Some have more defects, as I was telling you, maybe Brazilian or Indian hides. Others have less defects, but they always have defects. And saddles take big cuttings. So you've got to find,
A place with no blemishes.
so you get a whole hide and you say, well, how many seats I can get out of this hide? So if you can get 4 or 5 seats, is one thing. If you can get only 2, it's a different story, because there you have the brand marks, you have the ticks, you have the scratches from the thorns, barbed wires, whatever. So you've got to sort the leather when it's finished. You sort in different selections, which we call number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, number 5. And you sell according to the price and according to the use. For the seats, it has to be clean.
Yes.
So you've got to look for the best selection of your hides to put into that product.
And obviously this is now the commercial side of this, where you are looking to find
Exactly.
leather that you can maximize your return on.
That's the whole story.
Yes.
You have to find the hides. In our case, we get 100% of the hides, and maybe 35% can go to seats. 65, no good.
Wow.
They have different products. So you've got to sort them. And in that sort, okay, this goes for saddles, this goes for handbags, or this goes for another, whatever you can use it.
Yes,
Even furniture, but furniture also takes big pads.
Big pads.
So also it's a problem. So
Exactly.
in general, the leather, after we did all the tannage and the drying and whatever, and we softened it, we also have these drums with no water, where we throw 100 hides inside and just mill them for 10 hours or 8 hours for them to bump it into each other and soften it.
And soften them.
And soften it.
So the old way, because I grew up on a farm in South Africa, they used to get them and rub the hide
Yeah.
together like this
Well,
to soften it. It does the same thing.
the same thing, but you do 100 hides a time.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It's that. And then herring, before, they used to use a curved knife, I don't know if you've seen them, with 2 handles of wood, and you used to put it in a bench with the shape of like if it was a backbone of an animal, and used to go with this and used
Good
to
Lord.
cut the hair off one by one. But that has changed, obviously.
Oh, Roberto, what an interesting story. I mean, all of us that ride horses kind of take everything so for granted, We get a saddle and we buy it, and we're a spoilt generation, We get everything we want. And you know nothing about what goes into it.
No. And I tell you, from the day you receive the hide from the slaughterhouse until it's shipped, you have 35 days. So it's 35 days working inside the tannery. Sorting, fleshing, splitting, tanning.
And then it's only okay to ship
And then
after 35 days.
After 35 days. So, I mean, you have a lot of leather going through.
Yes.
And the worst thing is that you don't see what are you going to get. So you get the skins, you hair, and then you say, surprise, they're no good.
It's a little bit like breeding horses,
Yeah.
You breed a horse, you've got a foal, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
You only know what you're getting when it's 4 years old.
Exactly.
So you
It's the
skip
same.
all this other stuff to know
Well,
maybe 5% is going to work at the other end.
This is the same.
Yeah.
And then in the drum, I mean, you have to be sort of a chemist mixed up with an artist because you put the hides into the drum, and they don't work the same all the time. Sometimes, say you put light steers or vaquillonas that are small animals, they have a very tight fiber, and next day you put in the drum cows or heavy steers that have the fibers are more. So you say, hey, what happened? This leather doesn't look so nice as before.
So what sets the different tanneries apart then? Is it the attention to detail of the different hides that are going into it and how long you're doing each one, this kind of stuff?
And you've got to be watching. The interesting thing of the tannery is every day you learn something new.
Okay.
Every day. You're learning and you're learning and you're trying, and it's trying this, it works, trying this, it doesn't work. It takes years. I mean, tanners are normally family business.
Passed on from
and they pass, watch it, don't do this, because if you do this, you're going to have a problem.
Wow.
So it takes time. I mean, by the time you learn, I've been 45 years with it. I know 50% of what happens inside the tannery. And you meet guys and you start chatting. Oh, no, I do it a different way. Why do you do it this way? I've always done it like that. No, you've got to change. Do it this other way. Okay, let's try.
Obviously, the different areas have a different quality of water as well.
Very important.
Do you have to process your water before you use it? Or do you just match and make the chemicals that go in to match the water?
Before you buy the land, check your water. We have a case in Argentina, a very big tannery that was built in a place enormous with all the last technology brought from Italy, from Germany, from wherever. And when they went for water, there was no water.
Oh, my goodness.
And then the quality of the waters, you have the soft waters, you have the ones that have a lot of salts and different things. Of course, you can treat them, but I mean, all those treatments are costly. Yeah, of course. And you never get the same final result. If you make the same formulation for a tannage in one place with one water and the same formulation another place with another water, you get two different products.
Totally different result.
That's the way it works.
Well, this has been just the most unbelievably interesting chat. And
well,
it's as interesting tonight as it was the other night. And to be honest, I'm sure that all of you guys out there listening and absorbing what Roberto is saying will be just as interested as I've been, and you've learned a lot more about that piece of leather you're sitting on, and the reins you're holding, and the bridle that you've got on your horse, and the boots you're wearing. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us.
It's a pleasure.
Interesting.
It's my first interview.
No, you're a natural. You're an absolute natural.
So I thank you for giving me the space, because people don't know much about leather.
Yeah, exactly.
And I get crazy when I say, how do you don't understand? They show you a boot. I say, no, this boot is no good. I mean, the leather is awful.
And they just spent a couple of $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. It's an art. The leather is an art.
No way.
And you work with the natural products, totally. And it's not, as people think, contamination. No contamination at all. It was confused. There was a film they made up in the United States where they showed a whole city that was having a lot of problems with contamination of chrome 6. We use chrome 3, which is nothing to do with chrome 6.
Oh.
And people think that it's the same thing because it starts from the same.
Uneducated, and it's both chrome.
Exactly. So no, chrome, no, we don't want to hear about chrome. But the green color of a shampoo, the chrome is used for coloring products,
Yes.
Gelatin,
Yes.
everything. And it's the same we use, it's a salt.
And
it's the same
chrome 3
salt.
that you use.
We use only chrome 3. And you fight with authorities today or still because they think, no, you're using chrome, forget it.
Well, that has been just unbelievably interesting. Thank you so much for sharing all of that.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, and it's been so nice to meet you, and I hope you have a
And
safe
here
trip.
up in Egypt, can you
Yes,
believe it?
Can you believe? Can you believe to go all this way? Me from South Africa, you from Argentina,
And a meeting in Egypt.
and meet in Egypt. Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
It's been absolutely wonderful.